It is 2014. Can we just discuss how crazy that is for a second? Just let it marinate, because I can't even register that right now. Bibliophiles of the internet, my name is Adriana, and today I am here to do my December wrap up. Yeah, December is already over. 2013 is moot. Over. Done with. I had a really good reading year. I think I read, I want to say 117 or 118 books, which is insane. If you had asked me 2 years ago the most number of books that I ever thought I would read in a year, I'd probably say 20. It's just been a fantastic year for literature. Let's just get into it. I read 8 books in December, but I only want to talk about 6 of them because one was for school, so you guys don't care, and the other one I really didn't like, so I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to tell you the title, the author, a brief synopsis, my rating, perhaps a few words, so we'll see how it goes. The first book that I read in December was This Lullaby by Sarah Dessen, which is actually kind of a fail for me because this was supposed to be the November pick for the Sarah Dessen book club, but I didn't get to it, so I finished it on the first week of December. If you don't know what this book is about a character named Remy. Her mother has gone through many marital relationships and come out of them unsuccessfully. She's not averse to having relationships, she just thinks that there's certain stages that you have to go through with the boyfriends, and then once you've gone through them, it's time to move on. It's time to dump them. It's time to go get another guy. So she meets a guy named Dexter, and he is nothing like what she expects. He is not fitting in the normal boyfriend paradigm. It's all kind of about her coming to terms with love itself. I gave this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. Even though the rating might not reflect it, this is still one of my favorite Sarah Dessen books of all time, mostly because of Dexter. If I had to rate this book just because of Dexter, I would give it a solid 4.5 stars because I think he is one of the best Sarah Dessen characters that she's ever written. I think he's perfectly characterized. He's hilarious. There's just no words. I love Dexter so much. In my opinion, this just wasn't the strongest premise for a Sarah Dessen book. Even though I really love the story and I enjoyed it a lot, critically I think it had some problems. So if you want to know more about my thoughts about this, I will link my Goodreads review for This Lullaby in the down bar. The next book that I want to talk about is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, which is obviously the first in the Throne of Glass series. I will be doing a full review on this book, so I'm not going to talk too much about it right now. I'm just going to tell you what it's about. It's about an assassin named Selena Sardathian, and she is enslaved in the salt mines until one day she is summoned by Prince Dorian of Adarlan. He asks her if she will come participate in this huge competition, and the winner of said competition will become the king's champion, work for him for a couple years, and then they will get their freedom. So there are definitely perks to this. So she heads to the palace, and when she gets there, all kinds of crazy things go down. I loved this book. The world building and kind of stuff was a little bit questionable to me. Again, I don't want to elaborate on that right now. However, this book has a lot of addictive qualities. It was one of those books when I was not reading it, I was thinking about reading it, and I was obsessing over it a lot. And I still enjoy the quality of the story overall. I highly suggest this book if you are a fan of YA high fantasy, or if you're looking to get into that genre. This is definitely a good place to start, especially because the second book kicks this book's butt. I gave Throne of Glass 4 out of 5 stars. Solid start to the series, and I really enjoyed it. I think I accidentally participated in the Christmas Booktubeathon unconsciously because I had no intention of joining at all. And all of a sudden, everyone was reading, and there was just this community of everyone reading together, and I just read more than usual that weekend. So I think I accidentally participated. And the books I read during that time period, the first one is Wintertown by Stephen Emmond. I started this during finals week, but I only got like 70 pages into it. When the Christmas Booktubeathon started, that's when I picked it up again. I finished it Friday, Saturday. I finished it because I had like 300 odd pages left, or 200 something pages left. So, but I finished it and I really enjoyed it. I gave Stephen Emmond's Wintertown 4 out of 5 stars as well. I think I've already said this in one of my Winter Reads videos, but this book is about 2 characters, Lucy and Evan, who have always lived in the same neighborhood and been very close friends until Lucy's parents get a divorce, and then she's forced to move away. She comes back every year around Christmas time. It's all about them trying to figure out their friendship now that their lives have changed so much, and they're almost like strangers getting reacquainted and kind of reminding each other of who they used to be and who they can be. So it was very interesting, and I actually really enjoyed this one more than I thought I would. I kind of went into it expecting like a cliche, tired sort of story, but it was actually very touching, very moving, and I think well written at times. It wasn't perfect, of course, but I thought it was very interesting. The narration was charming, and I really loved the incorporation of illustrations and comics, not only between chapters, but sometimes in the chapters. So it definitely gave it this unique edge. I just really enjoyed it. So definitely well earned 4 out of 5 stars. The second book that I read in the Booktubeathon was The 12 Dates of Christmas by Catherine Hapka. This was a reread for me. I've also said this in one of my winter reads videos, but this is a book about 2 characters named Lexi and Cameron, and they've been together 5 ever approximately, and Lexi believes their relationship has run its course. They've lost their spark. Their time has just come. It's just time to part ways, but she wants to remain friends with them. So she tries to think of this sneaky, clever way to get them to break up but still remain on good terms. She kind of hints at him that they're drifting apart, maybe by canceling plans or doing this and that, and then she kind of sets him up unofficially with a rebound girl. It isn't until after she loses him, of course, that she realizes how much she loves him. And their town is super obsessed with Christmas, so there are a lot of events and traditions going on, and so in her schemes to get him back, she plans to use the nostalgia and the history of the town and the Christmas traditions and their Christmas traditions to try and get him to realize that they're meant to be together. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. You'll probably come to understand this in time on my channel, but 3 out of 5 stars is a very solid rating for me. It means it's a good book. I really like this book. I used to not like it because I used to think the main character was stupid for getting herself into a dumb situation, but I actually liked her much more this time around. I found her to be more smart and conscientious than I remember her being. She's really cognizant of the feelings of the people around her. Like, she realizes that her scheming affects not only her, but the other people involved. I liked her emotional journey in this book. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of Yuletide fun. I just thought some of the situations were hilarious, so I really enjoyed this reread, especially during this time of the year. And I do recommend this book if you're looking for a Christmas or winter read sometime. And the third book that I didn't finish, but I got a really long ways into during the Christmas Booktubeathon, was Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I'm not really going to give a synopsis on this book. I don't want to spoil anyone who hasn't read the series yet. I can't even coherently talk about that book. It was everything that I wanted from the series, from book 1, but it just delivered in book 2, and I just, wow. Was crazy, and I enjoyed every single second of it. Like I said for the first book, so highly addictive. I was so drawn to the story and the characters and the action. I don't even have any coherent words right now. The fangirl in me wanted to give it like 1 million out of 5 stars, but the critic in me saw a few little problems here and there, but I still give it a very solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. Don't get me wrong, even though the rating is very close to Throne of Glass cannot even hold a candle to Crown of Midnight. Like, Throne of Glass is a speck of dust in Crown of Midnight's eyes. Like, no. That series has quickly catapulted itself among some of my favorite series of all times, and I need book 3 today, here, now. Give it to me. And the last book that I read in December, I actually finished on New Year's Eve, and that is a reread of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Also, this edition is like my favorite thing in the whole world. Leather bound, it has the J.R.R. Tolkien sigil engraved in the leather, and it has these gold trim pages and these illustrations on the inside. Do I even have to? I guess I have to. I'll be nice and give you a synopsis of this, even though you should know. This is obviously the prequel to The Lord of the Rings, and it is about a company of 12 dwarfs, a wizard, and a hobbit named Bilbo Baggins. Basically, this company of dwarfs is trying to regain their homeland, which was taken over by a dragon named Smaug. And why do they need a hobbit, you ask? Well, because dragons are accustomed to the scent of dwarfs, but they have never smelled a hobbit. They have no knowledge of this species, so they kind of hire Bilbo to be their burglar to give them a one-up on Smaug and take him unawares. The thing is, they will find out that Bilbo is much more useful than they ever thought originally. Of course, this also tells the story of how Bilbo comes across the One Ring before the Lord of the Rings. 5 out of 5 stars always for this book. I love it. And watching all the movies always makes me want to reread this book. I reread it last year after An Unexpected Journey came out, and then of course I reread it this year after The Desolation of Smaug came out, because I just had so many feelings and I was like, I have to read it again, I have to. And I gave in and I reread it. I just really love this book. I love the narration, especially. Kind of sounds like an old friend is telling you a story. It's like almost written kind of like a fairy tale, and a fairy tale that's conscious of itself as well, which I like. It's not as difficult to read as a lot of people make it out to be. It's not something that I necessarily think you should read in a day. I think you should take your time with it, but it's actually told pretty simplistically. The voice is very engaging, and I think a lot of people would like it. They're just scared because of the reputation of fantasy and of Lord of the Rings. I think if you have any interest in the movies at all, you definitely love the book. So I recommend this with my whole heart, as well as the Lord of the Rings series. I also recommend that one with my whole heart, but maybe this one even more if you just want to kind of get your toes wet a little bit. Those are the books I read in December. Like I said, I had a very good reading month. Hope you guys all had a fantastic reading month in December. If you want to, if you feel so inclined, you can please leave a comment down below telling me what you read in December. What was your favorite read in December, or what do you plan on reading in January? Feel free to tell me if you would like. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!